Students, family members, friends, faculty, and distinguished guests, welcome to Northeastern State University's Spring 2015 Commencement for the College of Education. I'm Mark Aran. I serve as Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Please remain standing for the National Anthem sung by Hanson Johnson, tenor, accompanied by the NSU Brass Quintet, consisting of Christian Lopez, trumpet, Dylan Peters, trumpet, Joshua Shoemaker, horn, Zachary Gunkel, trombone, and Jeffrey Daniel, tuba. Miss Jamie Combs will serve for our interpreter as the ceremony.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. It is now my honor to introduce Northeastern State University's 19th President, Dr. Steve Turner, who will extend his greetings.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're so glad that you're here for the third of 4 commencement ceremonies for Northeastern State University. This afternoon, we're here to celebrate with the students from the College of Education. On behalf of the students and all of us, I recognize that many of you have made significant contributions in helping this group of students get to this point. Let me say thank you for what you've done, and thank you very, very much for being with us today in this ceremony. This is a special weekend across our nation. Tomorrow is Mother's Day. I would like for all the moms to stand and be recognized as a group that are with us today. All the moms. And let me say to you a very special Happy Mother's Day. Our institution is known as a veterans-friendly campus. We have had many students through the decades that have served, and some have given the ultimate. At this time, we would like to recognize all of our veterans, those that have served or are serving in any of the armed forces. Would you stand as a group and let us recognize you? All veterans, please stand. Thank you for your service. As you look around the facility, and certainly all the colors of spring are here, I wish you could see what we see, but certainly this is a beautiful sight. But as you look at the facilities, the flowers, the camera people, the sound people, the light people, there are volunteers from across the campus and many others behind the scenes that have worked hard to make sure that we're ready, not only for this commencement. This is the third commencement that we've had starting last night. I'd like for all of our volunteers, those that have worked hard to get us ready, get the facility ready, wave your hand and step in here. Let's thank them for making sure we were ready today. I would like to make a personal introduction. My wife Penny is over on my left in the green dress, so Penny, we're glad that you're here. Finally, also personally, I want to thank the faculty for from the College of Education. You have poured yourself into these students during their time here. I know their paths are going to be different ahead, but you've certainly guided them along this path. So thank you very much, faculty.
I would like to introduce some members of the platform party who have logistical roles in the ceremony. Others will be introduced later. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Dr. Pamela Fly, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs. Mr. David Kane, Vice President for Business and Finance. Mr. Ben Hardcastle, Executive Director for University Relations. Dr. Pamela Hathorn, Dean, College of Science and Health Professions. Dr. Cheryl Vanden Handel, President of the Faculty Council. Dr. Susan Frusher is our mace bearer, and our gonfalon bearer is Dr. Carl Farinelli. Dr. Vanessa Anton will assist the College of Education diploma distribution and hooding. Dr. Jim Farrell and Dr. Stan Sanders will read the names for the ceremonies. Please thank them for their involvement. Faculty members from the College of Education are here this evening to share this moment with you. Our faculty bring Northeastern State University statewide, regional, national, and international recognition. Most importantly, they are dedicated to your student successes. Please join me in expressing our appreciation to the outstanding NSU faculty. Faculty, please stand. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Laura Boren, and I serve as the Vice President for Student Affairs. At this time, we wish to recognize outstanding students at Northeastern State University. The first group includes our student marshals, members of the Riverhawks Ambassadors, a service organization representing the university in events throughout the year. Would the Riverhawk Ambassadors please stand? Thank you. Recognizing students who perform to the highest academic standards and serve the community, the Awards Committee of the Northeastern State University Alumni Association has identified 12 outstanding seniors. Honorees from the College of Education are asked to stand as I call your name. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Jamie Guthrie from Park Hill, elementary education major. Natalie Melton from Beggs, elementary education major. Congratulations to our outstanding seniors. Our next recognition will be seniors involved with NSU's Service and Community Engagement Program. The Riverhawks Initiating Service and Engagement, known as RISE, is a 4-year scholarship program designated to develop leadership skills through community service and civic engagement. RISE scholars maintain high academic standards, fulfill service hour requirements, and organize university-sponsored service events. As I call your name, please stand to be recognized for your service contributions to NSU. Kaylee Long from Concord, elementary education major. Macy Radenbaugh from Miami, elementary education major. Thank you all for your service to NSU and the community. Will Sydney Dillard, Rachel Manning, Kate Milakovic, Mary Tyler make their way to the right side of the stage. Established in 1974, the President's Leadership Class is a unique leadership and scholarship program designed to cultivate outstanding potential and proven student leaders. During their time at Northeastern, these students are immersed in a program focused on development of leadership skills and civic engagement. During this ceremony, we recognize 3 graduating members of the President's Leadership class. As I call your name, please come forward to accept your PLC certificate from President Turner. Sydney Dillard. Sydney's from Sallisaw and a Health and Human Performance major. Rachel Manning. Rachel is from Inola and is also a Health and Human Performance major. Kate Mizlakovic is from Wagner, Health and Human Performance major. And Mary Tyler from Inola, Health and Human Performance major. Congratulations to the President's Leadership class members from the College of Education.
NSU is fortunate to have an affiliation with the Gates Millennium Scholar Program, which selects 1,000 students each year to receive a Good Through Graduation scholarship to use at the college or university of their choosing. This scholarship includes funding for a graduate degree program in particular areas of need. NSU will graduate 5 Gates Scholars this spring, and in this ceremony, we will recognize the following individuals. Audience, please hold your applause until all are named. Students, please stand as I call your name. Michael Bates, from Locust Grove, majoring in school administration. Cassandra Smith, from Stillwell, majoring in higher education leadership. Corey M. Still, from Tahlequah, majoring in higher education leadership. Braden Young, from Tahlequah, majoring in health and human performance, clinical wellness. Congratulate these great scholars. Will Corey Steele please come forward to the platform? Corey has been selected by the Graduate Council as the Graduate Student of the Year, recognizing outstanding academic achievement. Corey is graduating with his Master of Science degree in Higher Education Leadership. His thesis is titled, Understanding the Difference, a look at higher education from the voices of American Indian students. Corey was nominated by his advisor, Dr. Susan Frusher. Dr. Tom Jackson, Dean of the Graduate School, will present the award certificate. The names of the spring 2015 honor graduates and the grade point average qualifications for the undergraduate honors and master's degree honors are in your program. These students will be recognized individually as they receive their diplomas. Please join me in recognizing our graduates whose grade point averages qualify them for cum laude, magna cum laude, summa cum laude, and the graduate student honors. Will all the graduates with GPA honors please stand? Please be seated. It is a pleasure to introduce our student speaker for today's commencement, Mr. Alejandro Gonzalez, a graduate student in the Higher Education Leadership Program from Yucca, Oklahoma. Alejandro was selected by the college to speak after participating in a comprehensive review process. Please join me in welcoming Alejandro Gonzalez.
Buenas tardes. Me llamo Alejandro Antonio González a las tres. Skeno, Uniones, San Antonio, Giazo. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alejandro Antonio Gonzalez III. I go by Tony. I'm half Mexican and half Seneca Cayuga Indian, and I wanted to introduce myself in my grandfather's voices and their languages. I'd like to welcome all of our family and friends, fellow students, professors, and distinguished guests. It is with great honor that I have the privilege to address the College of Education class of 2015. As we all enter into the world of academia, we must reflect on our own experiences as students. We must ask ourselves, in what way can we contribute to the field of education? Many of us will become teachers, counselors, administrators, other professionals, and many of us will continue the role as student to pursue a higher form of education. We all enter into the field of education because we think education is important. Education is important. Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. We must instill our love of education into the next generation of students. Jean Piaget, pardon my French, psychologist, biologist, and scientist stated, the principal goal of education in the schools should be creating men and women who are capable of doing new things, not simply repeating what other generations have done, men and women who are creative, inventive, discoverers, who can be critical and verify and not accept everything they are offered. We all have had the privilege to be educated in a time where free thinking is expected, where we were encouraged to question things that were said. We were encouraged to conduct research on things that were overlooked in the past. The early days of my education were at the end of the old-fashioned educational system, where what was written was right, and that's just the way it was. Being half Mexican and half Indian, very few educators looked like me. My first paper, written for Comp 1, was typed on a typewriter. I had to go to the library, use a Dewey Decimal System in the CARB catalog to check out periodicals and books to do my research. By the way, let's give a big round of applause for all those who obtained any kind of degree before computers or the internet. Since those days, education has taken a new, more progressive path. I am fortunate to have had the opportunity to see a new, eye-opening way of obtaining my education. More and more educators come from every race, color, or creed. I am so proud to have been part of a graduate program that is graduating so many fellow Native Americans. Give you guys a big round of applause right there. Philip Whiteman, Northern Cheyenne, said, the dominant society teaches us to be in front, be aggressive. Our culture teaches us not to compete, but to cooperate with each other, to find balance and unity. We go as fast as the slowest person. The leaders need to lead from the back. It took me 23 years to get my associate's degree, but I did it. I got my bachelor's in 2, and now I'm here today to get my master's degree. Confucius says, it does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. I hope you, as future educators, can use my example as just one of the methods for motivating minds. It's never too late to get an education, and there are many avenues for obtaining an education today. In closing, I want to congratulate all of you. I know you look forward to being an excellent role model in the field of education as I do. I look forward to joining the ranks of the educators that has been an inspiration to all of us. I'm excited and proud to be a member of the College of Education class of 2015. I know we will do great things. Oscar Wilde said, "You can never be overdressed or overeducated." Like many of you, I would not be here today without a strong support group. I'd like to thank my wife, Angie, who's been putting up with my crazy dreams for almost 27 years. My children, I'd like to thank my children, my grandchildren, all of you wave, my mother, and my father. My brothers, my aunts, and my uncles and cousins. I'd like to say thank you to all my professors and fellow grad students, but most of all, Nyowe Songwai Dison. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your remarks, and I do wish you the best in everything. It is now my honor to introduce Northeastern State University's 19th President, Dr. Steve Turnell, who will share his commencement remarks.
Alejandro, thank you for your story. It's a big part of the NSU story. Gather here, go far. Does this sound familiar? It's on our lampposts, it's in our ads, our publications, it's everywhere. I like it. It's memorable, it's meaningful, but admittedly, after a while, a slogan can become just words, something we might simply ignore as we go about our daily business. Not today. Gather here, go far. You've gathered in classrooms, in cafeterias, in ballrooms, in ball fields, on sunny days and snowstorms, with friends and with strangers who became friends. You gathered. Soon you will begin a journey that will take you far, maybe not in physical distance, but you have a great distance ahead of you. This is your go far moment. Each of you has a unique story to tell of the path that led you to this moment, but I am certain that everyone had times of doubt. You experienced setbacks and obstacles, but you found a way to accomplish your goal. And you had help along the way from a family member, a friend, a member of the faculty or staff. Our institution has been a gathering point for many generations of graduates, beginning with the Cherokee Female Seminary in 1851, and in 1909, our role as an Oklahoma public higher education institution began. Only 6 years before 1909, in 1903, two brothers stood on a beach on the coast of North Carolina. They had been preparing for their go far moment for 6 years, beginning with glider designs at their bicycle shop in Dayton, Ohio. By 1902, they had made more than 700 successful glider flights. The next stop was powered flight. None of the automobile manufacturers of the time could supply the engine they needed, so the brothers designed and built their own. On December 17, 1903, Orville and Wilbur Wright gathered with 5 friends on a beach near Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Orville climbed onto the plane and started down the track. The flight lasted 12 seconds and covered 120 feet. 3 more flights were made that day. The longest lasted 59 seconds and covered a distance of 852 feet. How far is 852 feet? The math whizzes are rolling their eyes. Everyone knows that. That's 10,244 inches, right? Well, it was certainly far enough to change history. And you may not quite realize it, but your graduation today is changing your history. How many of you, both here and in the audience, are first-generation college students? Raise your hand. It's huge. I know very well the transformative power of a college degree. When I began my higher education career as a working adult, my goals were pretty focused. Being married with 2 kids will do that. I knew then, and I know even more powerfully now, that I couldn't do what I needed to do all by myself. At Kitty Hawk, it took two brothers and many others that assisted them to go 10,244 inches on that blustery day. Another Go Far moment formally began on May 5th, 1961. President John F. Kennedy had been in office for only 5 months. The Soviet Union was regularly issuing military threats that extended as close as Cuba and as far away as outer space. The space race was on. In stark terms, Kennedy challenged a joint session of Congress to take steps to win the battle that is now going on around the world between freedom and tyranny. Kennedy told Congress this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth. No single space project in this period will be more impressive to mankind or more important for the long-range exploration of space. It's hard to grasp the sheer, raw audacity of that kind of a goal. Just 59 years from the first tenuous flight at Kitty Hawk, an American president was committing his nation to travel to the moon and back. Class of 2015, do you dare to dream that big and that boldly? I hope that you do. More than a year later, as President Kennedy continued to promote the space program, he says, "We choose to go to the moon in this decade and to do other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard." Why choose to do something because it's hard? Didn't Kennedy know the moon was 240,000 miles away? Okay, for those of you who are good with math, how many inches is that? I don't know either. Didn't the president know that the journey would require a rocket the length of a football field and have to be made of metal alloys that had not even been invented at the time? Actually, he did know, but he pressed on. He concluded by saying, space is there, and we're going to climb it. And the moon and the planets are there, and new hopes for knowledge and peace are there. And therefore, as we set sail, we ask God's blessings on the most hazardous and dangerous and greatest adventures on which man has ever embarked. Class of 2015, what great adventure do you have in mind? Certainly, it's a different world 54 years after President Kennedy's speech, but I would argue that the opportunities for success are even greater for highly motivated people. We live in an era of crowdfunding, 3D printers, and access to the world literally in the palm of your hand. Today is the beginning of your Go Far moment. Some of you may be thinking that there's no way you could be a part of a gathering that could achieve as much as the Wright brothers or the space program. You may think you cannot go that far, achieve that much, to change the course of history. I say you can. Throughout the 1960s, countless Americans gathered together and accepted the challenge of going far to the moon and back. And while there were setbacks and tragedies along the way, the goal was finally accomplished in July of 1969. I want to tell you the story of two Oklahomans who helped make this happen. Robert S. Kerr was born in a log cabin near Ada, Oklahoma in 1896. Yes, a real log cabin, and it's still there. An attorney by training, by the late 1920s, Kerr began focusing all of his attention on the oil business, which eventually became known as Kerr-McGee. Kerr was elected to the United States Senate from Oklahoma in 1948. From 1961 until his death in 1963, Kerr served as chairman of the Senate committee that created NASA. Although Senator Kerr and the president did not always agree about space travel and other policy issues, he helped secure funding that eventually led to the moon and beyond. Tom Stafford was born in 1930 in Weatherford, Oklahoma. After graduating from Weatherford High School, he went on to the U.S. Naval Academy and was commissioned a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force. Stafford was selected among the second group of astronauts by NASA and spent a total of 3 weeks in space during 4 different missions. This included the first ever meeting in space between American astronauts and Soviet cosmonauts. In fact, from Apollo 10, it was Tom Stafford who took the photos where Apollo 11 was to land. I had the opportunity to have dinner with General Stafford a few years ago in Weatherford. He was very humble and minimized his accomplishments by saying he was just doing his job. I submit that many of our heroes, like those in attendance today who served in the military, would simply say they were just doing their job. These two Oklahomans changed history. Like you, they drew their strength from their background, family members, friends, their teachers. They pushed the limits of what others might think they could achieve. These and other success stories remind me of a song lyric by Canadian country music artist Paul Brandt. Don't tell me the sky's the limit when there are footprints on the moon. The United States Space Program has had many great success and many heroes, but just as President Kennedy had stated in 1961, there were hazards and risks in our national efforts to gather together and go far. On January 28, 1986, a large crowd gathered together at the Kennedy Space Center to watch the liftoff of the Space Shuttle Challenger. 73 seconds later, the shuttle exploded due to a fuel leak caused by a faulty O-ring, killing 5 astronauts and 2 payload specialists. That evening, President Ronald Reagan spoke to America in a televised address from the Oval Office. He said in part, "We've grown used to wonders in this century. It's hard to dazzle us. But for 25 years, the United States program has been doing just that. We've grown used to the idea of space, and perhaps we forgot that we've only just begun. We're still pioneers. They, the member of the Challenger crew, were pioneers. Sometimes painful things like this happen. It's all part of the process of exploration and discovery. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted, it belongs to the brave. The Challenger crew was pulling us into the future, and we'll continue to follow them." Nearly 30 years have passed since the crew of the Challenger shuttle perished. NASA has now retired the shuttle fleet, but our space program is still dazzling us, and our nation continues to experience our go-far moments. The Hubble Space Telescope has been offering stunning glimpses of the universe for 25 years. We remain active with the International Space Station. U.S. astronaut Scott Kelly and his Russian counterpart began a 1-year mission in space in March. The Mars rovers, prototypes of the new space vehicle Orion, Earth-centered environmental research, and many other projects, we are continuing to gather our smartest and bravest, and we are continuing to go far. To the Northeastern State University class of 2015, you gathered here, and this is your go far moment. Now the question becomes, how far will you go? My experience is that we are limited only by our imagination, determination, and at times our willingness to take risks. I ask again, how far will you go? Perhaps the great modern-day philosopher Buzz Lightyear answered this question: to infinity and beyond. Tempted as I am to conclude my reports with this quote from an animated Disney character, instead I'll leave you with this from J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series of books. It is impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default. You will never truly know yourself or the strength of your relationships until both have been tested by adversity. Gather here, go far. Our alumni include teachers, police officers, doctors, politicians, leaders of tribal nations, lawyers, judges, social workers, bakers, accountants, and I expect more than a few have been involved in the U.S. space program. When you think about how far the past graduates of NSU have gone, it is clear your possibilities are limitless, beyond infinity. Great accomplishments come with great risks, but I am confident that each of you are prepared. Like General Tom Stafford of Weatherford, Oklahoma, you are ready to just do your job. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2015.
Thank you, Dr. Turner. We will now present the candidates for the baccalaureate and master's degrees. Each candidate will be recognized on stage and receive a diploma cover. Master's degree candidates will also receive a hood symbolizing their professional field. After all the candidates are recognized on stage, President Turner will confer the degrees. The dean of each college will present the candidates and will be assisted in diploma distribution by the associate or assistant dean.
Good afternoon. I'm Debbie Landry. I'm Dean of the College of Education. President Turner, I am pleased to present these candidates from the College of Education upon whom the baccalaureate degree will be conferred. Faculty, if you concur with this recommendation, please rise. College of Education baccalaureate candidates, please come forward. Faculty, you may be seated.
Courtney Ritter.
Leah Montgomery, cum laude.
Michael Ann Dre, magna cum laude.
Suzanne Evans.
Caitlin Rose Russell, magna cum laude.
Clayton Pierce.
Autumn Renee Gwynn, cum laude.
Jessica Nicole Vaughn.
Megan Leanne Clifton.
Cornelius Devon Gentles.
Emily Brooke Pritchett, cum laude.
Danielle Renee Grady, magna cum laude.
Shally Lynn Looper.
Jonathan Lee Jones.
Sarah Shelf.
Braden Young.
Rachel Leanne Allen.
Alexandra Adria Hubbard.
Morgan Elizabeth Lenz, summa cum laude.
Kayla Mary Marie Beard, magna cum laude.
Holly Joe Barnes, magna cum laude.
Carrie June Potter, summa cum laude.
Jessica Smith.
Natalie Dawn Melton, cum laude.
Cody Prater.
Joanne Klein.
Brittany Nicole Crow.
Jessica Marie Farrell, magna cum laude.
Lakeisha Danielle Davis.
Courtney Ellen Compton.
Brittany Nicole Lamont.
Stephen Hill.
Terrence Miller.
Rhiannon Gail Gwynn.
Madison Taylor Kirk, summa cum laude.
Rachel Elizabeth Hagan.
Tori Nicole Venable.
Anthea Miller.
Joseph Blake Brown.
Jamie Nicole Dotson.
Catherine Mazlakovich, cum laude.
Amanda K. Applegate Barnes.
Sydney Lauren Dillard, summa cum laude.
Leslie Gail Montemayor.
Mary Louise Tyler, cum laude.
Nicole Jones. Christina Nicole Jones.
Rachel Nicole Manning, cum laude.
Amanda Jean Gomez, cum laude.
Jessica Diane Weekly.
Love Ann Joy Ferris, cum laude.
Megan Kelly Brown.
Kara Deanne Jones.
Charlotte Adele Zul Garcia, cum laude.
Andalyn Joe Campbell.
Scott Patrick Hauk.
Summer Rochelle Cunningham.
Kyle Wallace Singleton.
Amber Nicole Wigington, summa cum laude.
Fabia Arsula Rosa.
Haley Lynn Thurman.
Kelsey Sheldon.
Shanacy Lee Smith.
Clay Allen Debden, cum laude.
Sierra Nicole Wade, cum laude.
Tyler Jordan Foster.
Catherine Lee Thorman, magna cum laude.
Amanda Harjo.
Rachel Elizabeth Clinton, magna cum laude.
Dylan Thomas Moore, cum laude.
Matthew Ross Walking Stick, magna cum laude.
Sarah Hibbs, summa cum laude.
Terrence Scraper.
Macy Lynn Radabaugh, summa cum laude.
Olivia Elaine Jamerson.
Jolene Katie Thompson, summa cum laude.
Zachary Drew Gibson.
Lindsay Hilton, magna cum laude.
Diana Dawn Condit.
Sarah Ann Hicks.
Tyler Augustus Bates.
Ariane Moorhead.
Tyron James Ballard.
Gabriela Fernandez, magna cum laude.
Leo Gross III.
Yes, I love it. Thank you for letting me.
Sydney Michelle Martindale.
Samuel David Stewart.
Callie Cinda Long, summa cum laude.
Jacob Alexander Neighbors.
Alyssa Faith Huff, summa cum laude.
Bryce Elijah Brown.
Sarah Michelle Taylor, cum laude.
David Cole Milton, summa cum laude.
Tara Lee Crow, summa cum laude.
Stacy Lynn Campbell.
Jennifer Sandoval, summa cum laude.
Deanne Priscilla Hutchinson.
Brooke Elaine Qualls, cum laude.
Joseph Brian Hurst.
Jamie Ann Guthrie Springwater, summa cum laude.
Kelly Renee Biggs, cum laude.
Sarah Elizabeth Stick, cum laude.
James Philip Estes.
Cheryl Lucas.
Dale Randall Arnold, magna cum laude.
Lacey Brian Knapp.
Ethan Ladyman, magna cum laude.
Renee Kristen Rula, summa cum laude.
Shannon Lee Hughes.
Patsy Ruth Spotted Bird.
Kara Ann Pearies.
Dorena Dolly Slinker Terrapin. Samantha Lynn Gaspard. Jessica Lynn Gaxiola. Nicole K. Ham. Meryl Renee Taylor.
Please help me acknowledge the bachelor's degree candidates from the College of Education.
Good afternoon. I'm Tom Jackson, Assistant Vice President of Academic Affairs and Dean of Graduate Studies and Research. President Turner, I am pleased to present these candidates from the College of Graduate Studies upon whom the master's degrees will be conferred. Faculty, if you concur with this recommendation, please rise. Candidates from the College of Education will proceed to both sides of the platform where they will be hooded by their dean or associate dean and their faculty mentor. Master's degree candidates for the College of Education, please come forward, and faculty, you may be seated.
Alejandro Gonzalez III.
Elizabeth Ann Gann.
Donna Gail Francis, honors.
Madison Noel Hayes.
Kara Webster, honors.
Cody Ray Melton.
Kimberly LaDonna Yunker, honors.
Claudia Vaquera with honors.
Jennifer K. Hecker, honors.
Sherelle Fawnette Jones.
Keisha Lynette Bell, honors.
Harlan Gregory Lee, Jr.
Casey Don Thompson, honors.
Joey Don Sneed.
James Anthony Brinkley.
Bobby Joe Eagleton.
Ethan Craig Anderson.
Cassandra Dawn Smith with honors.
Chance Jedediah Johnston.
Ryan Joseph Sierra with honors.
Travis Leon Wycliffe.
Corey Matthew Steele.
Earl Scott McDaniel.
Marcy B. Harjo.
Robert Brandon Goad.
Charlotte Michelle Wood with honors.
Ashley Lauren Cox.
Angela Rochelle Good.
Rachel Jean Sordahl.
Jonathan Curtis Moore.
John Arthur Fries.
Bryant Odell Barker.
Timothy Ryan Watson, honors.
How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing just fine.
Brett Stephen Barton.
Jacob Tyler White.
A minute. Jacob Tyler White.
Michael Lee Bates with honors.
Donna Marie Lorenz.
Crystal Marie Young.
Heather Dawn Robinson, honors.
Benjamin Thornton Bell with honors.
Rebecca Marie Austin.
Stephen C. Gilman with honors.
Jeremy Eli Hamner.
Clint A. Gilman. Sean David Cox with honors.
Please help me acknowledge the master's degree candidates from the College of Education.
It is now my pleasure to call upon Captain Jared Pipkin of the NSU Army ROTC program, who will execute the oath of office to commission 2 of our 4 graduating students. This afternoon, we recognize Terrence Scraper, a psychology major from Stillwell, and Matthew Walkingstick, a health and human performance major from Salisaw. Terrence and Matthew, will you come forward?
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Matthew Ross Walkingstick.
Being appointed an Army officer in the Army of the United States.
Being appointed an officer in the Army of the United States.
In the grade of second lieutenant.
In the grade of second lieutenant.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
that I will well discharge the duties
of the office of which I'm about to enter.
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Students, it is time for the conferring of the degrees. Will all baccalaureate and master's degree students please rise? President Turner, pending the results of a final degree audit, I certify that the candidates standing before you have completed all requirements for the baccalaureate and master's degrees respectively. And I recommend that the degree to which they are individually entitled be conferred.
Thank you, Dr. Arat. Consistent with the statutes of the state of Oklahoma, the Oklahoma State Regents for Higher Education, and the Board of Regents of the Regional University System of Oklahoma, and by the authority vested in me by the state of Oklahoma, it is my pleasure to confer upon each of you the baccalaureate or master's degree as printed in the program with all the rights, ranks, privileges, and responsibilities such a degree carries among scholars. Graduates, there is a tradition in higher education that signifies the passage from being a student and candidate for graduation to becoming a graduate. At this time, please move your tassels from the right side to the left side. Please be seated.
Graduates, as you know, Northeastern State University has a long service of history and reputation of greatness in Oklahoma. Our alumni have accomplished great things in their professional and personal lives. Today, you are joining this distinguished group, and we are your partner as you begin this chapter in your life. Here to explain the benefits of membership in the Alumni Association is Dr. Barbara Abercrombie, President of the NSU Alumni Association.
Thank you. As President of the NSU Alumni Association and a proud 1993 graduate of the College of Education, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you for the first time to the Green and White Network of Northeastern State University. The Green and White Network is how we refer to our community of over 56,000 alumni who have all one very important thing in common: a shared and lasting connection with NSU. When you found your way to your seat today, the official NSU alumni pin was waiting for you. If you haven't already, take a quick moment and put it on. Wear this pin as a symbol that says you are now an NSU graduate, a proud part of the Green and White Network. The Alumni Association is all about connections, and becoming a member of the Alumni Association is the most meaningful way to maintain your connection with both NSU and each other. We keep you connected through a broad range of networking events, programming, services, and communications. And to take full advantage of these offerings, I encourage you to consider joining the Alumni Association and enjoy the rewards and that sense of pride that comes with being a member. These connections can help you find that perfect job, the internship you've been dreaming about, or just some advice about what comes next after graduation. NSU needs you to stay connected. This institution thrives in no small part because of the alumni that have invested their time and their energy and their resources back into the university. You are now part of this connected community. Once you leave here, as you go about pursuing your life after NSU, you'll have the opportunity to give back. Perhaps one day you will serve as a member, a mentor. Maybe you'll have the opportunity to open a career door for an NSU graduate. Great things can happen when you stay connected with Northeastern and with each other. Then the relationships you developed in your time here will hopefully be rich and lasting. And after you leave here, whether your path takes you many miles and states away or just around the corner, rest assured you will always have a home here at Northeastern. Congratulations, and on behalf of the Board of Directors, I welcome you to the Green and White Network.
Thank you, Dr. Abercrombie. As we come to the close of our ceremony, please listen carefully to these directions to facilitate a safe and smooth exit from the arena. In just a moment, we will ask you to stand and join in the singing of the NSU Alma Mater, sung by Hanson Johnson and accompanied by the NSU Brass Quintet. Following the Alma Mater, please remain standing at your seat during the recessional. After the platform party, faculty and graduates have recessed and left the arena floor, the audience will be dismissed to meet their graduates in the lobby outside. We ask the audience members who are physically able to depart the upper concourse exits and stairs to allow the guests with mobility concerns easy access to the elevator. Now please stand for the Alma Mater.
Alma mater, forever may you live. Knowledge and freedom with truth you gladly give. Roots from the Cherokees and promises for our future. O Northeastern State, we shall honor you.